Hi there. I would like to first take this opportunity to thank Whatcom County Councilman Todd Donovan for taking the time for this presentation. My name is Ben Petropoulos, and this policy proposal presentation is called The Importance of Keeping Beavers on the Nooksack River. Now, as I'm sure you're well aware, the Nooksack River has been damaged severely by human activities in the past, both directly and indirectly, and is now listed as an impaired water body by Washington's Clean Water Act. Our native salmon populations, while once healthy and plentiful, are now threatened. The Environmental Protection Agency, in a 2017 report, states that some of the largest problems that ail the Nooksack are rising water temperatures, highly fluctuating water levels, growing impediments to salmon migrations, increased erosion rates, a decrease in wetlands and biodiversity, a decrease in riparian buffer, and declining salmon populations. All of these have been direct results of human activities such as clear-cut logging, which is a popular one in the Nooksack, and also climate change such as less water flow or less snowfall in the mountains. This isn't just a problem for the wildlife or the ecosystem around the Nooksack River either. This is a problem for Whatcom County residents as well. And this is also a problem that requires action from the Whatcom County Council, conservation nonprofits such as the Whatcom Land Trust and Nooksack Salmon Enhancement Association, Washington Fish and Wildlife, and the residents of Whatcom County. According to the Whatcom County 2017 Ecosystem Report, roughly 86% of all wildlife in the county rely on wetlands at some point in their life cycle. And this is why one of the most important things that we can do is try to protect these wetlands. Yet beavers, who have been known to effectively create these wetlands, have gotten a bad name for just that. They cause damage to private landowners and farmers for the flooding that they can cause. Yet the presence of a healthy beaver population has been proven to contribute on a multitude of important ecological measures, such as reducing extreme variance in water levels. This is because the wetlands they create can hold some of the excess water in the rainy season and redistribute that water back into the river during the dry season. This could help alleviate some of the more extreme flooding events and therefore help create less flooding in the area, on a large scale at least. A healthy beaver population also can reduce rising water temperatures, stabilize sediment erosion, increase biodiversity, and therefore increase overall salmon resilience to climate change. And all of these measures are really important for the ecological restoration of the Nooksack River. And it is no secret to the County Council, I'm sure, that these wetlands are important, and this is why their protection is included in the Critical Area Ordinance. The Ordinance Section WAC 365-196830 states that areas deemed as critical are, but not limited to, wetlands, fish and wildlife conservation areas, frequently flooded areas, and areas of critical recharging effect on aquifers. These critical areas are all largely affected positively by the presence of beavers. Yet, these protections do not extend to beavers. This is why I propose to change Ordinance Section 16.16.720 that allows for the removal of beaver-built structures more than 2 years old. Now, I recognize that there are provisions before one can remove a dam or beaver, but I believe the current regulation is too forgiving and needs more definite measures. These measures need to show a genuine effort to keep beavers in the Nooksack. Beavers should only be allowed to be removed if the beaver/dam pose a legitimate safety threat, If the potential for property damage exceeds a significant amount to be decided by the county council, and/or the dams pose a threat to any government infrastructure such as roads or facilities. And even before any of these removals occur, alternate mitigation should be concluded to not be sufficient before resorting to. I'm not blind to the difficulty of such strict regulations. There should be exceptions, as I mentioned, and there are probably more which I have not thought of that the county council could be able to conceive. Yet there are mitigation efforts that could be done, such as installing beaver deceivers to limit too high of water levels in vulnerable locations that are caused by beaver dams, or the planting of trees that beavers do not like in the riparian buffer wherever you cannot afford to have a beaver dam built. Both of these strategies have been proven to work in the past. Permits are already required for beaver removal, so less permits to process won't be costly to the budget. The county could, however, preemptively install beaver deceivers in vulnerable places such as the South Fork Nooksack River near the town Acme to help local residents coexist with beavers. This is an area with a high residential population that would be largely affected by this policy, so this could help mitigate some of those problems. These beaver deceivers would cost approximately $3,964 per site to install, according to a report by Stephanie L. Boyles, a wildlife biologist, who wrote a report about the state of Virginia installing about 18 of these deceivers along the coastal plains. I do believe that there would be support for this policy as well. In a recent poll by Western Washington University's Center for Economic and Business Research, 33% of all interviewed Bellingham residents rated environmental friendliness in their top 2 values they cared most about. Also, the Whatcom County Council have already taken extraordinary steps towards restoration measures and have been accepted largely by constituents in this environmentally minded area. So in conclusion, the ecosystem of the Nooksack has been damaged significantly by humans, and it is our job to make sure that the ecological restoration can be done as quickly and positively as possible. A healthy beaver population can provide a multitude of these restoration benefits. The overall restoration effort will be much more successful with less beaver removal around the Nooksack River, and therefore the Critical Area Ordinance 1616-720 should be changed. And beaver deceivers can be placed in the Nooksack to help alleviate local damage to private property. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to hearing back from you.